Hello everybody, I am Fuzzy Face. Welcome back to another round of this Motorsport Manager career. We've got the 11th race of the season. It is the Singapore Grand Prix. We'll just have a quick recap of the last race, which was Milan. We had a brilliant 1-2. We actually qualified 3rd and 9th, but we turned that into a 1-2. Red Bull 4th and 5th there, our main competitors heading into the final few races of the season. Ferrari are the team closest to us, but Red Bull have the car that is also closest to us. And with Juri Vips, it looks like Vips has picked up performance that Albon couldn't get out of that Red Bull. If you watch the last video, Vips has taken over the Red Bull seat from Alexander Albon. As you can see, Vips now has, after one race in that Red Bull, is outscoring Alexander Albon in the championship. Albon moved back down to the AlphaTauri, the former Toro Rosso car. But you may have seen, whilst we're on this screen, we do have the best car overall, which will lead us to the car development screen, and we'll get into Fuzzy's notebook. As you can see, if you remember from the last video, we were working on a suspension. That suspension has now gone into the car. It gives us the second best suspension overall. A lot of our parts are the best parts in the game. Well, it's just pretty much the rear wing at the moment, as other cars have been developing. But as it sits, we are the best car overall. We are let down by the engine power and getting a new front wing built here. Possibly a brakes build. But I do want to fit an engine build in before the end of the season. And an engine build is going to take quite a while. So, we might be able to get the brakes and the engine in. I'm hoping we can do that because we want an engine built for the end of the season. That is going to be next year's engine that's going to go into the car to give us a good start to next year. But anyway, we'll just run down it. As you can see, we did have the best brakes in the game overall last time around. Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren have all developed brakes. They've jumped us in the order. AlphaTauri and Haas have also developed brakes. It's given them some improvement, but they haven't got above us. Suspension wise, we've had Williams and ourselves, so that is why Williams remain above us in the suspension race for having the best suspension in the game. Other than that, it is a gearbox for Prema. So Prema now have the best gearbox in the game, which is what we've gone over before. There's just the cars are so close together. Once one car develops apart, they just shoot right up the order. We might do some rebalancing at the end of the season because it's just the way the teams have developed. Everyone's just closed in. I do like it that everyone's closed in and we get a lot of different results though. So I might not actually fix a rebalancing other than maybe giving some performance boost to the top order teams. Maybe bump Mercedes and Ferrari up a little bit, but I'm undecided at the moment. Other than that, the only upgrade to be anything different to that is Aston Martin with a new front wing sees them go up to 4th, which means Red Bull, Renault, Alfa Romeo all have no new parts going on to the car this time, and Renault continue their slide a little bit down the order. They're currently the 7th best car overall now, behind Williams, behind us, behind McLaren. Renault have had the best car in this game for quite a while. It's been right up there or a tiny little bit behind the best car. They just haven't put it together at all, even with the advantage this year in the standings. They are currently 6th overall, no wins. They didn't pick up a win last season either. Do they have any more podiums this season? If we just click here and then we click, who can we click? Lead designer, because that will tell us how many podiums. Just 2 podiums. Although they swapped lead designer from last season, so we can't quite see it last season. But I don't think they had that many podiums last season. If we just have a quick... I can't even see Daniel Ricciardo. Where are you on this list? There he is, 9th overall. 2 podiums this season, 2 podiums last season. Who was in that car last season? It was Esteban Ocon. So for Renault last season... Why does that say he's... I haven't changed the little logo, that's why. Is it Aston Martin? But it's got the wrong logo on there. But anyway, no podiums. So only 2 podiums this season and last season for Renault. So it isn't the best time for Renault. They've not been having the best time of it recently. But yeah, we're going to get into the race weekend here. And 8:43 is what we usually take, so we've got enough for all 3 stages of qualifying. It is a 33 lap race here. It will be a 2-stop for most cars. Some cars, if they're lower down the order, they will be able to 1-stop. It is a really short pit lane here because you do cut out 2 corners. So a pit stop here, you might only lose 7 seconds of on-track time through a pit stop. So we're going to see a pretty decent race in terms of cars finishing where they should be, which is going to be decent for us. Gearbox, brakes, front wing, gearbox is fourth, the brakes are fourth, and the front wing is second. So we could be considered favourites here. I mean, there's not many teams that are consistently above us, other than, no, the Williams are above us there, McLaren, Ferrari. Yeah, we could still be considered favourite here. I mean, Renault still have a decent gearbox. Other than that, yeah, we should be in for a pretty decent race here. We should really, realistically, be considered favourites for this race. You never know, but anyway, we're going to get into the Singapore Grand Prix. We're going to skip over practice, and we'll be back in a second for qualifying. So practice is over. We are looking pretty quick here in Singapore. Gasly a little quicker than Vettel during practice. Lando Norris the quickest overall. Maybe we have the pace to get our first. I think it would be our first pole. I don't think we've not been quick enough to get a pole. I don't know if we did grab one in the rain at some point, but I don't think we did. At some point we're going to be quick enough to grab our own pole position though, but who knows when that's going to be. We're pretty much there with the setup. I can make one change under my own rules if I want to. I don't really like to mess with it too much after qualifying, just make it a little bit harder for us, not take advantage of the allowances, because even during qualifying you can change the setup of the car. But anyway, I do like this Singapore track because there is some nice camera shots here that you can get, especially with the cars running out of the pits as well. It's just some nice, I do like the views here at this track. But anyway, we're just going to wait for a little gap and we'll try and get out ahead of this McLaren that is coming out of the pits. We're going to, no, we don't. We actually ghost through whoever that was. I'm guessing it's Carlos Sainz, who is currently out on track, and we'll wait for a little bit of a better gap with Sebastian Vettel. No, we've got Ferrari coming out of the pits as well. Cars just coming out all over the shop here. We'll try to wait for a little gap, and that is a Renault coming past now as well. So let's speed up and let everyone go out, because we're not even going to get a decent spot there. So, right, let's get Vettel out. This track is pretty quick. It's only a sub-minute and a half track. So Jüri Vips, quickest in the Red Bull. He's getting a lot of that Red Bull that Alexander Albon couldn't get. He's pretty much matching Fernando Alonso. He did beat him in the race last time out. Vips just had a great first race for Red Bull. They were 1-2 on the grid, and it was a great race. I mean, we're actually pretty slow over the first lap in qualifying. So slow, in fact, that we're going to have to run again here, because we're not that safe. I mean, we've got Ricardo Perez in the bottom 9 at the moment, going to be eliminated after Q1 here if they don't improve on their times. We're going to get out again. Maybe we should get Gasly out earlier. There's not many cars coming out of the pit lane. If you're not on a fast lap, you only sort of interfere with other people whilst you're on a fast lap, so you don't want to be out with anyone else doing a fast lap at the same time around you. If they're on a cooldown or an out lap, you usually just sort of ghost around them. You don't really lose much time to them. But as it is, we need to get Vettel out of the pits. We don't want to miss him coming out as well, so let's get Vettel out of the pits. Gasly is on his quickest lap. We've got an Esteban Ocon in an Aston Martin quickest. Mercedes pretty quick here as well. Ferrari looking pretty quick, but Leclerc is closer to the front runners than his teammate Lewis Hamilton is. But Gasly is 14th at the moment. Luckily, everyone else is going pretty slow here, and we're not going to end up getting eliminated, but that is a little bit too close for comfort. I thought we were going to be pretty quick here in Singapore. It looks like Vettel's going to be a lot quicker than his teammate, but no, he loses it sort of over that last sector. And that is 10th and 15th. That is not as quick as I thought we would be here in Singapore, which is a little bit worrisome. I thought we were going to be a little, well, not even a little, I thought we were going to be quite a lot quicker here. I thought we had potential of a start on the front row of the grid. Did both Renaults get out here? Daniel Ricciardo got out. Sergio Perez, I don't think got out. No, Sergio Perez will start from 19th. He's got a dodgy neck, so does Nico Hulkenberg. We've got Williams, Alfa Romeos. We've got a Mercedes of George Russell eliminated. Tsunoda in an AlphaTauri. So hopefully that was just a little blip over our first few laps, and we can improve on that. We're going to get Gasly out early this time. And maybe we'll do our first run early with both cars here. Stay ahead of the pack. Set a decent time over the first run in Q2 here. I mean, there was something way off during our first runs in Q1. Tyre temperatures are pretty decent here. Brake temps alright as well. Maybe that was off with the cars over that first run. I mean, Carlos Sainz is going quicker than us, is he? No, yep, Leclerc is currently quickest on track. I mean, that is a lot better this time around. We're right up there, Vettel's right up there, but it looks like Leclerc could be on for getting first here in Q2. Not Leclerc, a lot slower through that last sector, so Vettel now quickest in qualifying. So running early seemed to help us out that time, getting away from a lot of the traffic. There's going to be more grip on track towards the end of the session. I'm thinking Vettel's pretty safe, but we'll have him run again. Ocon, who was first, obviously he must have some time, but it doesn't look like anyone down here is really going to improve. I mean, we might as well watch Giovinazzi because we don't really have to run again. We might use this opportunity to save some super softs here because we do need them through the race because we're going to be using 2 sets in the race. So we don't need to run again, do we? Can Albon get himself out in an AlphaTauri? Can he get through to Q3? It looks like he has done. Albon getting a much better result in the AlphaTauri than he's had in the Red Bull for most of this season. Albon gets himself into Q3, although Danny Ric is going a lot quicker here as well. Danny Ric might see himself through into Q3. That Renault, we know the performance is not there at the moment. We've got other cars going quicker. Can Vips here? He slipped all the way, his Yuri Vips. Looks like he's a little bit closer, although he's a long way off after Sector 2. Is Vips going to be out here in Q2? Vips gets himself... No, Yuri Vips in that Red Bull is out. That second Red Bull is turning into a bit of a curse, isn't it? I mean, Vips just out here. Albon out-qualifies Yuri Vips in the AlphaTauri. But anyway, we are looking pretty quick. So, disaster averted. We did get through into Q3. I mean, after that first Q1 run, it didn't look like we were going to get there in the end, did it? But anyway, we do manage to get through. Pierre Gasly a little bit slower than his teammate. Hopefully he can improve. So we're going to do that again. We're going to get out really early in this session. Seems to work here. So we'll get Gasly straight out on track. I mean, track grip is there. We'll just let him round that corner. And then we'll get Vettel out because we don't want them catching up over the out lap or whilst they're on their fast lap. We know Vettel is a little bit quicker. We don't want him catching up to the back of Gasly here. So, we're out. Gasly, Vettel on their hot laps here. And Vettel puts it in a pretty quick 1:26.7. Although Norris is going quick here. Where is Norris? Norris comes in third, so it looks like we are pretty quick here. Verstappen is quick over the first sector. Is he going to lose it in the second, as we've seen? Yes, he does. A lot of the other cars not suited to that second sector, but Verstappen does pick enough up through the final sector to go first. Leclerc splits our 2 cars. Albon is going to get into... doesn't tell us there, but he gets up into 9th ahead of a Renault here. So that is not too bad from Alexander Albon. Does everyone have enough tyres left to finish this session on, to run again on Supersoft? Albon does have a fresh pair of Supersofts. We might as well, no, we'll go with Daniel Ricciardo. He's out at the moment, about to set his quickest, well, not his quickest, it might not be his quickest, but he's about to set his final qualifying lap of the race. We might as well get Gasly out on track whilst the track is pretty quiet, and then we're just going to wait a little to run with Sebastian Vettel. Ricciardo looking pretty quick here over the first 2 sectors. He's not that far off. He does have... well, he does improve, but not as much. I thought he was going to be sub 4 tenths behind Vettel. And we're getting towards the end of the session here. We're just going to wait for this gap. We'll try to get Vettel out last. Is that going to be last? Hopefully we've got enough time to get around. We should do with 2.5 minutes remaining. And Gasly is about to start his final lap in qualifying here. So Gasly, can he pick up over the first sector? No, he's slower. We're not going to see any improvement. But Vettel is currently perfect and perfect, so he does have room to improve here. Gasly is a little bit quicker, but not quick enough. Was he pretty close to his last lap? Only just down on his last lap. But hopefully we're going to get something out of Vettel here, because Leclerc is going to go quickest. Maybe he's going to push us off the front row of the grid. We do need to improve here. So close to Verstappen, although we're quicker over the first sector, slower over the second sector. Vettel, did he improve? No, he didn't. Just, he's quite a lot slower, but luckily Leclerc didn't improve. I guess his last sector he did improve, did he? But he didn't get that close. What am I even saying? He did get close, but not close enough. We do retain our position on the front row of the grid here. Gasly is 5th, so this is one of our best qualifying sessions overall. Last year here we were 8th and 15th. Last year's pulse it was Alonso. Leclerc was also on the front row of the grid. And Alonso actually went on to win this race from pole last year. Second was Leclerc, third was Hamilton. We finished 5th and 10th in the race. But that is not a bad qualifying session for us, which means we will be starting on the Super Sauce. We do have enough left to run with Supers. We're going to be on the Supers for the majority of this race. It never usually rains here in Singapore. It's pretty hot, but we don't have to worry about tyre wear here because we do have our 2 new sets of Supers. We're going to use 1 set of sauce through the race. The medium is not a factor in this race, but we're probably going to see some of the AI switch to it or use it from the start. I mean, they're going to try one stop if that's what they go for. We might as well go push from the off here as well. We want to get a good launch with Sebastian Vettel. Maybe get Verstappen at the start, but obviously that is down to how they start. But anyway, let's go through the grid for the 2022 Singapore Grand Prix. We've got Max Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel on the front row of the grid. Charles Leclerc, his teammate Lewis Hamilton is up there as well in 4th, so Ferrari making a fight back here. Gasly 5th, Lando Norris is 6th in a McLaren. His teammates just behind him. Carlos Sainz is 7th, Ricciardo 8th in the Renault, Alonso all the way down in 9th. Albon up there in the AlphaTauri, great qualifying session for him. 11th Ocon, 12th Newgarden in the Haas. Vips disappointing in a Red Bull is 13th. Bottas is 14th, Giovinazzi 15th. Ant Stroll 16th in the Aston Martin. Magnussen in the Haas is 17th. George Russell, his form just way off here. 18th place in a Mercedes. Perez 19th in a Renault, not a good qualifying session for him. Then we've got Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Schumacher, and on the back row of the grid we've got a Prema and a Williams, Schwartzman and Latifi respectively. But hopefully here we're going to get a good launch as we wait for the lights to go out and we're underway. We get a decent launch. But Verstappen, who is that running wide? Someone's run wide. I'm guessing it's Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is way wide on the first corner. Rejoins the race, and he's going to rejoin the race all the way down in 13th. Vettel is off here, but Verstappen is flying into the distance already. We do need to keep up with him. Gasly's got away pretty well as well. He's got the 2 McLarens bearing down on him here of Carlos Sainz and Norris. Norris is on a slower tyre though. He's decided to start the race, and Albon started on a used pair of super softs here, as has Ricciardo, as has Alonso. I mean, that's why I don't like the 3-stage qualifying in this game, because the AI is not the best at choosing which tyres to run, or bring to a weekend. But anyway, we are currently battling away with Charles Leclerc here. I'm guessing Verstappen's just going to fly off into the distance. That Mercedes looking ultra powerful here, but we're looking comfortable in second here. Gasly is giving Leclerc a hard time. We need Gasly to get past him. And whilst he's done that, we might as well try cool down a little bit here. I mean, we're going to have to come back a little bit later in this game during this race at Max Verstappen. But if we can just keep going here and try work out some sort of strategy to get past Max Verstappen. As we start to dial back in, we're probably going to be able to dial back in at him because he's going massively through those tyres and through his fuel. We're just going to sit back cautiously. Juri Vips has crashed on track. So definitely not a good race for Vips. Vips has parked up about halfway around this track here at Singapore. No safety car though, but Vips disappointing after having such a good time in his first race at Red Bull. Just can't put it together here at Singapore at all. And Verstappen is just flying off here, isn't he? Is he still pushing? He is. I mean, these tyres are not even cooling down at all, are they? Verstappen's used so much fuel over these first few laps. I mean, he's just flying on the fuel. He's gone 4 laps. He's probably a lap, maybe 1.1 over. And he's going to have to do some recovery to that at the end of this race. I mean, we're just going to cool down for a tiny little bit because we don't have to do it too much because we can get off this super soft at any point. We do need about a 7-second gap to get in and out of the pits on this super soft because it is a super short pit lane here at Singapore. And we've got Gasly just holding up Leclerc whilst Vettel cools off. We're about 5 seconds behind. Gasly, I mean, he's still pushing. Is Max Verstappen here all out? So we're going to have to do something, aren't we? We don't want to use too much fuel though. So we'll just see if we can catch up to Max, if we can bring that gap down again. Yes, we know these tyres are overheated. There's nothing we can do about it here in Singapore. It's all about this first stint, try to create enough of a gap to get in and out of the pits and maybe get a little bit of an undercut going on Max Verstappen. It is the next runs that we have to be more careful of how we look after the tyres to make sure that we have enough to get through to the end of the race. I mean, because we're just shredding this tyre at the moment, try to get back at Max Verstappen. If we came into the pits at the moment, we want to try and get to a point where we would get out in front of Charles Leclerc. Obviously, do we have risk on the pit stop? We have a little bit of risk, but it's not too bad. I mean, the pit crew, they seem to be getting really tired pretty quickly. I mean, they did change them. It's like a race or two, and some of them get a lot more tired more quickly. It's just, we're going to see if we can close this up a little bit more. We're pretty much there with Gasly as well. We're getting away from Charles Leclerc now. He's got the two McLarens on the back of him, and we're going to have to start thinking about getting into the pits. This lap is the lap we're going to have to get in. Should we go for the super soft this lap, or just make sure that we can get what we need out of a soft tyre maybe first? No one does have the ability to run 3 sets of super soft. Maybe the AI doesn't have the ability to run 2 sets of supers through this race. We've got Perez. We had collisions between some cars here, but hopefully Vettel is quick enough here. This tyre is not going to go off before we get around, so that is alright. Are we going to be quick enough to get out in front of Charles Leclerc? That is a question. That is what we want to happen here. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much if we're out behind Gasly, because Gasly can just let him through. But it looks like we're going to get out in front of Charles Leclerc. We're right there with Gasly as well, so we're going to order Gasly to let Vettel through, because he's running a totally different strategy here. And we're looking for the undercut on Max Verstappen. Currently 9.5. We're going to push through here. Mick Schumacher has been given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision. Was that with Hulkenberg, who he's with? No. I don't actually know who he's hit. Is it Daniel Ricciardo? No. Can't actually see anyone falling back down the order. 8.7 seconds now. Is Verstappen going to be in this lap? No, he's going to go another lap here. Is Max Verstappen? I mean, we're closing in on Max Verstappen. Is he going to go for a hard tyre? I don't think. No, it's not possible to do a one stop here just yet. And Gasly is doing a good job here as the temperature is lowering to 24 degrees. We'll stick at that. That is still way too hot for these super softs. It's not too bad for the softs. I mean, we're using so much of this tyre at the moment in trying to close up to Max Verstappen. I mean, we're at the 7-second mark now. We might get out of the pits in front of him, but we're just absolutely flying, and we're not going to be able to push much of the fuel load over the next few laps. So we're going to just try cool down now, because we do have Max Verstappen now. Do we have Gasly in front? No, we don't. Maybe we should have pushed a little bit more, but I don't think we would have got to the point where we could have got past Max. Max does have a pair of soft tyres on his car. He's cooling down from the start here, which is good for us. George Russell has now been given a drive-through penalty for causing a collision as well. He's just getting lots of collisions at the moment. And did he serve his drive-through, or has he stayed out? I mean, I'm guessing it's Nicholas Latifi that he's hit, because Latifi's got damage on his car as well. And Vettel, meanwhile, whilst we're on these tyres, Verstappen's just cooling down. We're managing to stay ahead of him here. That undercut worked an absolute treat for us, and Gasly is pretty much at a point where these tyres are about to go off. Hopefully we're not too late. I mean, we might go for the super soft, because we do want to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc here. We'll run the opposite way around to what we did with Sebastian Vettel. We might as well push a little bit here. They're about to go off, but we should be carrying enough pace since we can push and not overheat to get in and out here onto a fresh pair of supers. We'll push over the first lap to make sure that we keep that gap over Charles Leclerc. I think the tyres did just go off before the end there, which cost us a little bit of time, but Mick Schumacher sets the quickest lap from 23rd on a pair of super soft. We've now cooled these down. We don't have much room to do much with the fuel at the moment. That's going to take us about 11 laps to recover, but Gasly is out into 5th place. He's behind Norris, who hasn't pitted yet. Charles Leclerc comes into the pits. I'm guessing he lost a lot of time there as well. We should be quicker than Norris. We do need to make this pass before we turn the tyres back down, though. That is crucial for our race here. Maybe we should go into overtake mode and see if we can get Gasly past. Norris is going to pit though, and maybe we should get to cooling down. No point wasting any more, because Norris is going to be into the pits. I don't think many of the AI teams that got through to Q3 have any super softs left, so we have that luxury here of having a pair of super softs. We do know we have that for Vettel to finish the race on, And we're getting away from Max Verstappen nicely, so that is good to see. Looks like we might have the win secure here. Might have a full-on 2 cars on the podium here. Can we get Gasly anywhere close to Sebastian, not Sebastian, but close to Max Verstappen? We're actually falling behind. We are in low mode at the moment, so we are actually just falling behind. If we switch back now and we'll go medium and high, will that get us close? Can we claw Max Verstappen? We know we are quicker than that Mercedes at the moment, and it is the only car, well, other than the customer teams, but it is the only engine that we have a better engine than is the Mercedes one, so we should be able to claw this back. Whether we do have enough life to do that, does Max Verstappen even have another pair of softs to go on to? That is some data that we can actually look at, isn't it? Because we can't look at the tyre selection here, and if we look at Mercedes, I mean, Max does have supers left. They've brung a lot of super softs to this race. So yes, Max does have a pair of super softs to finish this race on. So what is the point? We need 16 laps, so we can actually push on this tyre like we did with Vettel. Try get somewhere close to him and then get in a little bit early. Maybe get another undercut going here because Verstappen's on a used pair of softs. We maybe want to try go for the undercut, which means we do need to get through this super soft tyre pretty quickly. We might as well use the life in this tyre that we've got and just absolutely go for it with Gasly, haven't we? To try and get this 1-2. I mean, we're closing in pretty rapidly over that last lap. 1.4 seconds quicker, pushing all out, as Verstappen is just holding back a little bit here. We've pretty much got the fuel all the way there with Sebastian Vettel as well. He's in a really good position here, hopefully. I think, yeah, we're going to get through to the point we can get a super soft back onto him. And I think Max is going to go for a pair of super softs as well when he comes in, unless the AI just puts him onto a pair of softs for some reason. But anyway, we'll just take a quick break and we'll have a look down the order. We've got Vettel first, second is Verstappen, Gasly's third. Then we've got 2 McLarens, the Red Bull is up there. We've got the 2 Ferraris together. Newgarden in the Haas and Ocon in an Aston Martin is in the top 10, although he's being chased down by Ricciardo. Ricciardo might be able to get enough of an undercut, but he's 5 seconds behind at the moment. Who else? We've got Perez is all the way down in 20th. 21st is George Russell. So this would put us top with quite a big gap of, what is that, 46 points, and a big gap. And these tyres have possibly only got 1 more lap in them. Are we going to be giving up time this lap? We've got to the point that we're going to get in for the softs. Hopefully there's going to be no mistake here. I mean, Vettel's going off the boil a little bit on this pair of super softs. He's got 13 laps out of this soft, not the super soft. It's Gasly that is on the super soft, and he's closed right up to Max Verstappen here, although he's possibly going to be quite a little bit slower this lap. Possibly going to lose some time to Verstappen. No, we're still closing. We're still closing. We're going to get into overtake mode here. And we're still keeping that gap to 1.2. And that is the point. It must be 15% on most of these tyres under the new balancing things. I haven't actually taken too much. Are we going to get out in front of the McLaren though? We need to get out in front of the McLaren. We do get out in front of Carlos Sainz here, which is absolutely brilliant. We get out in front of the McLaren, and Vettel does need to get into the pits now this lap for his last pair of super soft. He is overheated a little. We don't want those to go off the boil totally. He's 5.5 seconds in front of Verstappen. If we can keep that into the pits here. And it looks like they've just gone off, is it, the softs? So they're now 10% still. I'm going to have to look at it because, yeah, we did retain that 5.5 second gap into the pits. Vettel is in for a pair of super soft. Verstappen will take the lead, but he does have to pit again here. And that is brilliant for Vettel. We've got that gap and we're so close now with Gasly. Gasly is homing in on Max Verstappen. This undercut is going to work for us here. But Verstappen will be on fresher tyres, and we do have to recover the fuel with Gasly. So has this worked totally? Hopefully it has. Is Verstappen coming in this lap, or is he going to try another lap? No, Verstappen is in this lap. So Gasly is going to go through here into second place. We do have a, let's just fast forward a little bit, 2-second gap. But Verstappen's gone for soft tyres here. Why have you gone for soft tyres, Max? I don't know. Should we take a quick I mean, Verstappen's going to be pushing all out here. We might as well just keep there. We do need to cool these tyres down, though. That is a problem that we do have. We do need to make sure these get... Well, they should get through to the end of the race from here. We're just going to have to manage them a little bit as we come through. It should be alright for Vettel to get through to the end of the race. He's not going to overheat. He's far enough ahead. That's not going to be caught up on track. It's just a matter of keeping Gasly ahead of Verstappen here to finish this race. Have we got the pace to do that? We know we're quicker than that Mercedes, but I mean, Verstappen's gone through that tyre pretty quickly. I mean, he's almost at the point where we're at, and we've been on this tyre 2 laps longer than he has. I mean, I'm guessing he's overheated those tyres pretty quickly, and he's in conserve mode now. So we'll take this opportunity to go into low mode whilst he's in conserve mode. And he's in full on low mode as well now. So it looks like we should be able to hold on for another 1-2. 2 races in a row with a 1-2. We're still searching for our first pole position. But we'll take it in the race. Vettel is just flying off into the distance here. There's no need to push him. We don't need to try grab a fastest lap in this race because there's no bonus for the fastest lap at the moment, and we're just nicely cooled down now. We're going to be able to recover this fuel, but we might as well just make sure we can do it by running about half a lap in low mode to make sure we can recover properly. And we're at the point there. Brilliant from Gasly there. The undercut has worked a treat for us here on Max Verstappen. We've managed to catch the Mercedes out 2 times here around Singapore, and we're just pulling off into the distance now as Vettel is coming round. He's nearly 9 seconds ahead of his teammate. Gasly is about just over 3 seconds ahead of Verstappen. It's still the 2 McLarens there. We've still got the 2 Ferraris. Everyone's about in the same place. Ricciardo has dropped off. Looks like Giovinazzi is going for a 1 stop here. Has worked out for him pretty well, but hasn't got him up into the points. Looks like no one else in the top of the order who's gone for a 1 stop. Everyone's pretty much done a 2 stop race here, which is nice to see. I don't think we're going to get anyone coming into the pits late on, which is the big test in this race, to see what the AI does over a 33 lap race. It looks like it's worked out for everyone. We're not going to get anyone into the pits late on. I mean, Carlos Sainz, and yeah, we do. Got the 2 McLarens. They've just pushed. I mean, why? Why would you come in? I mean, that will see you through to the end of the race. Why are you even coming in? On to another pair of used supers. I mean, he's only going to lose 1 place to his teammate. Maybe thought they could push further forward. I don't know. I don't know why they do this. I don't know, but Gasly's away from Max Verstappen now. We might as well just speed back up. It looks like we've got everyone back in order. I mean, Vettel is a little bit too overheated here, but there is enough tyre in that to go through the final lap of the race. Gasly has recovered his fuel now, heading into the final lap. We're away from Max Verstappen. It is going to be another 1-2 here. Carlos Sainz came in to grab the fastest lap, it looked like, and he has got back past Lando Norris on track. Norris's tyres have gone from under him, so maybe it's just the case with overheating. They didn't think they could do it, and with only a 7-second pit stop, it has worked out for them here. So Sergio Perez did it as well, which is a little bit better in Albon, so not as many, and it hasn't affected the race as much, at least here in Singapore, so that's not too bad. But anyway, Vettel has picked up another win, 2 races in a row now, a 2nd place for Gasly as well. Absolutely brilliant race from him as well. Just the undercut worked brilliantly for us. There shouldn't be any problems with any of the cars, because I do take, if the AI develops a risky part, I do take it off them. And there it is, 1st and 2nd. A pretty decent race overall. Did anyone drop massively? Alexander Albon dropped all the way out of the order here. Vips, of course, with his crash, finished a lot lower than where he started the race on. And that puts Sebastian Vettel 1 point ahead of Fernando Alonso. Heading in to the business end of the season, Pierre Gasly moves up to 4th. Charles Leclerc still remains in 3rd place. Lewis Hamilton disappointing in the Ferrari this season. Only 67 points, 8th place overall. I mean, that 2nd Ferrari seat has a little bit of a curse to it in this game as well. But there we go. We're now 49 points ahead, which is a full race weekend. 43 points if a car finishes 1-2, that we can finish outside the points and still be in 1st place. I mean, unless the other top cars start developing engines, they should be developing all the other parts of their car, which should see them jump us, as we're going to maybe do this part that we're doing and then another, and then totally switch focus to next year's engine, which will take a while. I'm thinking it's going to take like over 40 days to do. So we don't have that many upgrades to do again until the end of the season. We came first overall. There's still a big chunk of money coming out of the bank account. Not that that matters. And yes, an absolutely brilliant race for us once again. We'll just take this and we'll do that. It's going to upset Pierre Gasly. I don't know why. Just say we perfected the strategy, because we did perfect the strategy doing the undercut. It was perfect. Both our cars jumped Max Verstappen doing that. And we are now tied with Red Bull for 3 wins this season. All those wins for us this season have come from Sebastian Vettel. The win in Beijing, the 3rd race of the season, and it was quite a long time until we got to Milan and Singapore to pick up 2 more first places. And as we see, yeah, we don't have a first place this season because of the rain. Gasly has been pretty comfortable. 5 podiums this season. 4 podiums for Sebastian Vettel, so Gasly still does have more podiums than his teammate. That's the only area that he's beaten him in. Vettel's out-qualified Gasly 7 times to 4, whereas Vettel has outraced him 9 times to 2. But 4th place, Gasly has been decent this season. Van Dorn was pretty good in the car last season, but we signed Gasly and then he had a pretty decent jump in stats. He went from like a 4 and a bit star driver to a 4.5 over the off season, which worked out pretty well for us as he's managing to keep up with Pierre Gasly here. But this front wing is not going to be ready in time, so we've got no new upgrades going into the car for the next Grand Prix. I don't know if the AI is going to be able to do that either, because it is only a short gap to the Japanese Grand Prix. But anyway, we'll see what happens next time around when we head to Japan. It looks like it's going to be a rainy race there, a heavy rain in qualifying as well, so that might throw up a few interesting things. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you down the road in Japan for the Yokohama Grand Prix. But until that time, goodbye.